Yeah, man, it's the 16th of September, 2024. This will be another update on my life situation with remote neural monitoring, being targeted, and just other things in general about news going on around the world. So, uh, I guess first I'll say that my circumstances have not changed much at all. Still the same stuff, if not kind of. Kind of ramped up a little bit lately, and it's most likely because I haven't been doing a lot of videos. If I do a lot of videos every day, they kind of back off a little bit. The more publicity and the more that I stir everything up and gain more of a following, then they do a little bit less, not much less. But if I don't do anything, they start to become empowered and irate about it. You always feel like you got something on your face, uh, stuff in my eyes, just broadcast, all kind of stuff with broadcast. And this is something that'll unfold probably over the next 20, 30 years. And it's not very likely that it's going to become a political issue. And the reason I say that is because it's not. It's not right now. It's not a political issue, and it's not even on the radar. You haven't heard Donald Trump talk about it. You haven't heard Kamala Harris talk about it. You haven't heard any politicians talk about it whatsoever. You might hear a little bit about it on some kind of info wars or something like that, but nobody really digs deep into it and talks about it. And the fact that so many people have neural monitoring, not like some large percentage of people. You really have to look at things in percentages. Okay, so it could be a million people, but when there's 8 billion people on the planet, uh, that's that's a very small amount. Even though a million people is a lot of people, but it's still a very small amount overall. So it's not something that's just at the forefront of today's issues for people to talk about because not enough people understand what it is or understand what we're talking about when we talk about it. And that makes a big difference. If it's just, if you do something to a percentage of a 1% of people, it's not going to be some deciding issue on anything. And I haven't heard any politicians talking about it whatsoever. So we have to continue to do our own type of thing where we want to learn as much as we can about it and put ourselves in a position to be able to solve the problems that we have because nobody's coming to save us. The government's not going to help us. And it's very unlikely that some gang stalker is going to decide to show you how to access your neural monitoring, especially after they've done a lot of things to you. So it's not going to happen. So you have to do your own thing. Um, as far as what's going on around everywhere, it looks like they tried to get Donald Trump again today. This guy that apparently took some shots at him or something like that. They're calling it an assassination attempt this time. So I guess the mainstream media kind of looked crazy last time because they try to pretend like it was no big deal, and then it turns out it was like a serious assassination attempt, and they still haven't unraveled all of the suspicious things behind that situation. Um, this time, it seems like they're trying to take it a little more seriously. I did see a video of the guy that they're saying did it, and he was trying to fight in Ukraine, and he was trying to get other people to come and fight in Ukraine, and I guess they wouldn't let him join up with the Ukraine people. He's like a guy that's lives in Hawaii now, and uh, he seems a little bit out there, but we'll see how it unfolds. I just heard about all of this just a few hours ago, and so it doesn't surprise me that they're trying to get rid of him. Just people in general, whether the CIA has anything to do with it or any of these different things. It's not like they haven't done things like that in the past, and the deep state is they're horrified. of this man because he's not part of their group, because he's a very successful businessman. He knows how to run things, and he's not going to adhere to the globalist agenda. Okay, so not that he's going to help us solve this remote neural monitoring problem, but I it concerns me, this globalist agenda, where they try to force you to how can I word this? They try to force you to subject yourself to untested treatments that turn out to be strange. Okay, so that's probably the best way that I can slip that one in. And then you got this crazy stuff going on with the illegal immigrants everywhere. And if you just watch some videos, you'll see that there's just tens of thousands of people just walking across the border. And the Border Patrol is basically turned into social workers who process these people in. And you got American people that have all of these struggles in our own country, and everybody's angry about these people that just, and I don't care where they came from or what their circumstance is where they came from. I know somebody that, I know quite a few people that came here legally and went through an entire process that takes like 2 years. You have to get a green card, and then you have to come, and you can't be gone more than 6 months, and you have to go through this whole process. And they took classes and learned the language, and you have to take classes and pass these tests and stuff to get a citizenship. And I know people that have been on the waiting list, and they make you go through all kinds of criminal background and medical backgrounds, and they also make you have sponsors. Somebody in the United States that makes up to a certain amount of money has to sponsor you to come here, and then they check you out, and you need to have like a relation and a sponsor and all of these different things, and it can take up to a couple years, and it's just completely unfair to those people. And everybody else who's ever come here legally. It's completely unfair, and it's just a disgrace to them to allow just millions and millions of people to come into this country, and for whatever reason they're coming for a better life. Like, everybody claims asylum. Everybody just, of course, they want to come to America. Most of them end up on social programs immediately. They get driver's licenses when they don't know how to drive. Some of these people come from countries where they barely have cars. They don't know how to drive, but suddenly they don't know the language. They can't read. I know somebody that lives in a neighborhood where there's a lot of immigrants, and legal immigrants, and some of them can't even read, and they haven't tried to become citizens or done anything like that because they don't care to even learn the language, and they just speak their own language to each other. And a lot of people do that. But if you come here, you should at least be required to be able to read enough so you can understand the basic laws that we live by, because we have a different culture. And when you bring other cultures here, well, maybe they do some strange things that are unacceptable to us. There's things that are perfectly fine in some third world country, like maybe marrying a child, or eating strange things, or certain type of cultural practices that are just illegal here. That's unacceptable here. But we're bringing these people here, and they're bringing their culture with them. And if they don't understand the laws that we have, and they don't understand the culture, and they live by what they know, and that may not be our culture, and it might be illegal, and it might be something that we completely disagree with, yet the current administration is bringing them in by the tens of thousands on a daily basis, as many as they can. We don't know exactly why. We've heard all the different things, because they want to get the votes, because they want the replacement theory of replacing everybody or whatever, like all these different ideas. One thing I noticed is that a lot of people that from American people that are from different races or different cultures within America are really starting to come together and be unified against all of this. Okay, because so it's really it's made me feel like I can see other cultures and minorities and things like that that are starting to really feel like they are true Americans, and they are. But you'll hear, oh well, this and that about the different uh, racial things or cultural divides within our country, but when something like this happens and it's so extreme where everybody's affected and people are losing their neighborhoods and their way of life, suddenly all that little stuff doesn't matter anymore, and they are true Americans. And if you've been here for generations and you're a citizen, you are a true American. And we're all immigrants at some point or another. I mean, obviously, I was born here, but my parents were born here, but my grandparents were not. So some of them were, but some of them were not. And before that, different places all around the world where we're all from at some point or another. Um, and that goes for everybody pretty much. Even the natives it came across the land mass from the other side of the world when it used to be connected. And that's how they say that people got to this side of the world at all. So, but it doesn't matter. Um, we're here now, but we are a sovereign nation. And when you see things like the thing in Springfield, and where uh, and who cares what the people are doing out there? It could be that people aren't driving good, and there's a lot of wrecks. That people say their insurance is going through the roof. People are worried about their pets and things like that. But the reality of the situation is, those people had a town of 60,000, and 20,000 people got dumped in there that can not speak the language, and now they have employment shortages and housing shortages and all kinds of problems out there with cultural clashes, and the government systems that are in place to deal with those 60,000 people are suddenly having to deal with 20,000 more very quick in a short amount of time, and those people are not um, they're not people that speak the language and understand the laws of our country. And that's what happens in a lot of different places where you have a large influx of people that don't speak the language or don't understand or come from somewhere that's so culturally different, and they bring that with them. And if you put enough of those people together, then it starts to clash with American citizens and our way of life. Um, I'm concerned a little bit about the socialist agenda or the globalists, whatever you want to call them. Uh, I don't agree with it at all. I don't agree with the things that they're doing. And freedom of speech, they could come after me for the things that I've been saying on this channel for years. That freedom of speech is under a lot of stress right now. And um, EMF Broadcast on X, at EMF Broadcast, if you want to follow me over there. I'm also on there, and I'm going to continue to be on here. But obviously, these platforms are leaning towards a certain side of the aisle, and um, there's a lot of pressure from the government side to suppress certain views and things like that. And um, I'm probably taking a huge risk even talking about this stuff. But you know what? My channel in general, I don't do it for like as something I'm trying to get rich off of. I barely make enough money to pay the phone bill off of this channel that I use to upload and do all of these videos and everything else. So, and there's thousands and thousands of videos, and it's not a profitable thing for me to continue to do this, but I'll continue to do it anyway. But it wouldn't surprise me if it came under more scrutiny moving forward, especially if the political thing kind of moves in that direction. I saw a video about with Putin, Vladimir Putin from Russia, talking about these missiles that they're trying to allow Ukraine to start using this week coming up, I think, and he's saying that if you guys use those missiles on Russia inside of Russia, then you are declaring war, and we will treat it as we are at war with those countries involved. And he was they talk so bad about him, okay, and he was making so much sense. He was saying, hey, Ukrainian soldiers can't fire these weapons. These are not something that they have the capabilities. I know the Ukraine uh, situation, and they don't have the capability to use those type of weapons. So even if they're fired out of Ukraine, those weapons require U.S. and U.K. satellites and things like that for the guidance and everything else. So it's not like the Ukrainian soldier that fired the weapon would be um, the one that was controlling the weapons or whatever. We're talking about these long range missiles firing into Russia, and um, just approaching things from a neutral, logical position. Okay, because on the other side of the world, we don't know that much about the real circumstances, and Ukraine and Russia, they're kind of like the same people that speak the same language that were at some point in the past unified, and now NATO and the United States has been so involved with Ukraine. And if you look into the past about overthrowing different governments and things like that, there's a lot to hear about, whether you believe it or what really happened. But it wouldn't surprise me. Okay, and when I hear Putin talking, he's makes a lot of sense. Okay, and when I hear some of these other people talking, they don't make a lot of sense. And when you look at things objectively like that and try to make decisions for yourself, and these are the same people that told us that we should take an experimental thing, and the same people that are bringing in all of these illegal immigrants and destroying societies, the same people that have record crime and homeless, the same people that tell us all sorts of lies all the time, the same people that's deep state conspiracy stuff that try to shut down freedom of speech and take away all of your rights and use every situation to their advantage. And I know some people believe in the things that they say, and some people are confused, and some people are just evil, and some people you can tell that they're smart people and that they're not confused, and they still push the agenda. So it makes you really wonder, what do they have to gain from it? So there's something. There's something. They're part of some secret society club or something like that, and it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of those type of people are um, involved with neural monitoring and gang stalking and stuff like that. And I'd love to see it become a bigger issue, where we can talk about it on the big channels and the mainstream stuff, where you started hearing about it on that kind of stuff. Um, on some of the other, on one other platform that I mentioned earlier, you do see more. Uh, you see more freedom of speech. That's what I say. Less suppression than this particular platform and the Meta platform and some of the others, where everything is kind of tied in with certain branches of three-letter organizations and countries and agendas that don't allow you to hear different sides of different things. Okay, so there's one particular platform, the one I mentioned earlier, that you can see, and you'll see some horrible things on there. It'll blow your mind if you haven't been on there a lot lately. I would suggest going on there and finding out that some of the things you see are horrible and disturbing, but it's the truth, and it's somewhere you can get the or the bias or the unbiased truth, or whatever. You might see things that are horrible, racist or violent things, and but you're going to see it. You're going to see what's really happening, and it's not going to be suppressed and hidden from you for a certain agenda. Okay, so but I'll be ecstatic if remote neural monitoring and gang stalking became a big topic, but it doesn't look like, I haven't heard anybody mention it, and so it's not quite on the radar yet. And you will never have me believe that all of these politicians don't have their own neural monitoring. Okay, when you're talking about powerful people, and I know drug addict retards that have their neural monitoring, of course those people have their neural monitoring. Okay, and it's not everybody. It's probably like, oh, everybody's in on it, but it's not. It's not. They have these extreme advantages to make things appear very, very different than they actually are. But if you go out in public and this person, that person, this person, that person, they all seem like they're in on it. Maybe they are. Okay, but they were able to coordinate that with great advantage. And the street theater stuff, they say, oh, this person's on public. Look, we got a target person over here. Let's go get involved, and those people can converge on that situation. And so it can make it seem like, yeah, everybody's involved. And also broadcast things can be very deceptive. But they are able to use those type of technologies. And, I would urge you to think for yourself and know what you know, okay, and know what's still up for question, what's still open to change, okay. And what I'm saying is, you'll hear that, oh, only the military can have this type of technology. Well, that's not true, because I know people that have this type of technology. I've seen people accessing these strange type of things on their phones. I've seen people that didn't know anything about computers suddenly have virtual androids and hosting packages. I've seen people with little headsets on that look like some kind of EEG thing that would read your mind, okay, and they're receiving whoever they're connected to on neural monitoring. I've seen people have these things. I don't come on here and just make up things. These are the things that I've seen, and you can follow the whole story with, like, I don't know, 7, 8, 9,000 videos, some ridiculous amount of videos on my channel. Not all of them are public, but most of them are accessible for like $1. For all of them, like $1 a month to go watch them all. Okay, and it's because I don't want. It's not because I'm trying to make money, but I wouldn't be afraid to tell you if I was trying to make money. I'd love to make $1 million off of this stuff. That'd be great. It might help me solve some of my problems. But there's a reason that you would take, if you got thousands of videos, you leave a couple hundred of the newer ones and the more popular ones up public, and then you put the rest on membership level. That way they're not able to be shared. Okay, you can't use my video or share my video if it's a membership level video. And the last thing I need is 9,000 videos out there getting chopped up to make it look like this and that. Okay, so those videos are protected by a membership level. And if you haven't paid a membership level, or even if you have, it's not something you can chop up and share different parts of, because that's protected content. So that's one of the main reasons that I did it. And also, well, I'm gonna have to cut this one short, guys. I got some work people calling me. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to try to do more videos, but I'll be back again as soon as I can. Sorry, I have something coming up right now. Talk to you guys later.